Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast. I'm Jay Zawaski here with Mario Tirabassi. Greg Boysen is back at the United Center and will join us shortly. Looking forward to hearing what the Hawks had to say about this absolute dumpster fire of a game.
Stinker.
5-2 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We can no longer call them the Ass Jackets because they have kicked the Hawks' ass twice this year.
Kick-ass Jackets.
There you go. The kick-ass Jackets.
The kick-ass
There you
Jackets.
go. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Boy, we got a lot to get to in this one, but before we do, please do us a favor. Smash that like button for us. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube page as well. Podcast listeners, make sure you're following or subscribed. And leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Flat out, almost everybody sucked in this game, top to bottom.
Yeah, this isn't going to be a happy postgame show.
There are a few exceptions of people that sucked slightly less than others.
Slightly.
This was perhaps Seth Jones' worst game as a Blackhawk.
He was bad.
It was from the moment the game began, 33 seconds into the game, he turned the puck over, leading to the first goal of the game. He turned over pucks several times. He took 2 penalties. It was a horrible game for Seth Jones tonight. Absolutely awful.
It was a rough game for everybody. Like man, I don't know. This is one of those games where it's just, like Thursday night, 5-0 against Colorado. Fine. Like, that's going to happen, right? It's Colorado. It's Chicago. What else did you expect? You get to 29th place Columbus Blue Jackets coming into town. Like, you'd think there'd be some pissed off Blackhawks after the 5-0 loss wanting to come in and wanting to have a better performance.
Yep.
And, you had a pretty decent crowd, as the saying goes, a pretty good crowd for a Saturday. And Jesus, like it was just and I hate to be like, oh, they need to care more, but it was just like uninspired play. And I said it to you and Greg during the game. We have heard all season from Luke Richardson, like, this is nothing new. Make simple plays.
They can't. They
Simple,
refuse.
Thoughtless hockey is like what he's asking them to do. And it's just like every extra pass that could be made is attempted and usually broken up.
Yeah.
Open shooting lanes are passed up. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's the simplest thing to say: north and south, get traffic, put the puck on net, shoot more. Everyone's given the green light. If you have an opportunity to shoot, you should be shooting, trying to get rebounds, trying to get redirections, trying to get some damn puck luck in your favor, because that's literally all you can try and get going this season. And I don't get it. Like, we were saying everything is a chore for this team.
It's very frustrating. All right, we're going to give you the 3 stars and then let you vote for the 4-star of the game. We really don't think anyone really deserves it, but it's part of what we do, so we're going to do it. 3rd star, Cole Sillinger. He had a goal. Very good game for him. Philip Kurashev with a goal and an assist. He's your number 2 star. Your number 1 star, Zach Werenski, with 2 assists and a +4. So here are your nominees for the Hawks. Ryan Donato with a goal and an assist. Connor Bedard with an assist, 4 shots and 5 shot attempts. Alex Vlasic with an assist, 22:06, and 3 block shots. So there you go. Get your votes in. None of that really matters because it was absolutely bad.
Who was the least worst
Who
player?
sucked the least?
Because even Kurashev, like, he gets a 2nd star, and like, yeah, like, he deserved it. But other than that, like, man, it's just.
I'm not one for ranting for the sake of a rant. I think it's played out. I think there's certain people in this town that have made a living of making their own YouTube page once the radio career ends and then just ranting every day about something. And it means that no one takes you seriously and no one cares. But I want to know from your Chicago Blackhawks, who do they think they are? Who do they think they are that they're going to go out and just like skate circles and be the Harlem Globetrotters against the Columbus Blue Jackets?
I don't know.
Dude, you're the worst team in hockey by a significant margin. Like, there's no team that this team should take lightly. And every time they have an opponent that you feel like they should beat, air quotes, they get their dicks kicked in for 60 minutes. They lost 8-1 to Arizona earlier this year. What was it, 7?
Earlier this year to the same Columbus Blue Jackets was 7-3.
7-3 and 5-3 in this one.
5-2.
5-2 in this one.
Yeah, not even that good.
That's awful. And like, are they taking their foot off the gas because they think they can play? Like, oh, we did our best against Colorado and Detroit, so now we're playing a lesser team, so let's coast. No, you have to play with 100% effort every night to have a chance against any team in this league. That's the reality. That's where you are. And guess what? Friday's the trade deadline, and you might be losing Tyler Johnson. You might be losing Colin Blackwell or maybe some other players. It's going to get tougher. It's going to get tougher. Yeah. I don't know what this team needs to hear, what message they need to get. Nick Foligno's been very clear about it. Luke Richardson's been very, very clear about it. If you listen to the pregame today with Tyler Johnson, he talked about we got to keep the game simple. We can't be doing too much. We got to play north and south, the stuff we were just talking about. They played this game like they expected to win. You shouldn't expect to beat anyone until you do. 6 in a row, and what is it, 14 or last 15, something like that?
Yeah, it feels
You're
like
the worst team in hockey. There's no team in this league that you're going to skate circles around. It's not going to happen. So until you can complete a pass from point to point without it getting picked off or going offside and out of the zone, come ready to play every game from the puck drop. And from the puck drop of this one, it took 33 seconds for the 35-point Columbus Blue Jackets to take the lead on you. Yeah. That is ridiculous. And let's call it, man, the $9.5 million defenseman who I've spent the last month defending, I wrote about it this week, fumbles a puck with no pressure, and they're down 33 seconds into the game. Yeah. Pull your collective heads from your collective rectums. And look, the three of us are in the locker room at every practice. And if any Hawks have a problem with what we're saying on this show, we're there all the time. We've got our photo IDs on us. We're there in the locker room all the time. Yeah. I don't think anyone's going to take issue with what we're saying because anyone who watched this game or played in this game saw the same thing we did. I heard Troy Murray, for the first time in this intermission today, resigned. He was like, yeah, they just don't have a lot of confidence or playing on their heels. Yeah. You would have expected a little bit more in this game, but, they're just really not, you would have thought after losing 5-0 they'd be embarrassed, but, it's really just not the case. Okay, cool. Like, I don't know. I just don't know.
You want some of Matt Peck's hats to chuck?
No,
they're right there.
That's his own bit. Yeah. I'm just mad. It's just look, like we do a post game after every game, and most nights they lose, and most nights when they lose, they at least give a shit, and they go out there and they do their best, and it's just a matter of not having the horses to keep up with most NHL teams, and you can live with that. Yeah. You can live with the losses. There's no way you should get clowned by the Blue Jackets twice in a season. No. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and the fact that like there's games where you can't even pick, 1, 2, maybe 3 like good things out of it. Like, I mean, yeah, they scored twice, but man, it's just I'd hate to think that this team has like you said with Troy tonight on the intermission. I heard it too. Like it was just. Yeah, I mean, it was. I was listening to him, and it was just like, it just sounds like you throw your hands in the air, and you're just like, what else are you expecting from them to do? What else? What else can they do if they've never done the simple things right this season? So I'd hate to think that this team is also like at the point of like, what are we supposed to do? Like I'd hate to say that professional athletes have packed it in, but man, like it's one thing to be out talented, and this is a Blue Jackets team that should barely out-talent the Blackhawks, but to kind of just out-execute, out-give a shit a team, like, I don't know. You shouldn't be able to, or you shouldn't have those kinds of results. Like, and it's just super frustrating because, like, yeah, should we be getting frustrated over a team that has been in last place pretty much all season and has had no hope this year? Maybe not, but we're going through this season, and we went through last season. And last season, yeah, we were frustrated with losses, but like we weren't frustrated with the way that they got there.
Right.
We were, this year it's a lot different. The stretches of time where the effort levels and the execution levels are, acceptable for this club have been rare.
Yeah.
Short stretches. It hasn't been a continuous thing. And I just, I know talent is a part of it, but I don't know. Part of it is also, between the years. And I don't know if it's just not executing a game plan, which, like we said, is as simplistic as could possibly be in the NHL. But I don't know. I know it is a talent thing, but man, it's just not a. You're not that untalented.
Yeah.
To play the way that Richardson's asking them and not get any sort of like good takeaways from games.
No, and again, like we're at practice every day, and we see how they're practicing. And there's a reason Luke Richardson has had a lot of high energy practices, a lot of intensity, close drills, board battles, all those sort of things you need to do to compete. And then the game starts, and it's like, where did it go? And Lord Hossa says it falls on coaching to an extent. Got to get the motivation out of the players and not leave it to a players-only meeting. I mean, that's part of it, but like,
yes, but
at some point, have some pride in your game. Have some pride in yourself. Like you said, they're not that out-talented by Columbus. Look, we all expected Colorado to come in here and win, right? And 5-0 was probably a little bit. It wasn't as bad as 5-0.
Yeah,
right. It just wasn't. This game was. You had the Columbus Blue Jackets skating circles around you for the vast majority of the game.
Yeah, like the Colorado game didn't feel as bad as 5-0. This felt worse than 5-2.
Absolutely.
Like, and then that should not be the case, even for this Blackhawks team.
The Hockey Barn says tomorrow should be a 6-hour practice. Well, I'm taking that one off, so I will not be there tomorrow.
I also will not be there.
All right, we're going to take our first break of the night. We're waiting to hear from Greg Boysen. It could be a while. I would assume there's a little bit of a shut door in the locker room for a while here.
Yeah.
I would hope so, but I don't know. You can only go to that well so many times before it loses its feel. Yeah. Like I saw, I think it was Drive Secure 24/7 earlier said, something seemed off about this game. Like they weren't ready to go. And you would think that this would be, he says, if you watch the game, something looked off, and I think the season has worn on the guys. You think this would be the one, though, that they'd be chomping at the bit to play. Like, all right, here's a game where we can get right. Yeah. We don't have to play mistake-free to win, and they played probably their most mistake-filled game of the year.
Yeah, I mean, if you coming off of having Colorado be here and then having to shake that off and see Columbus come up next, like that should be a little bit of a like, all right, we can. This is a game that we should be able to hang in there and have a better result if we play the right way, and they just didn't. They didn't play the right way. It was a game. Greg and I, we were going back and forth, just keeping up with the Ice Hogs tonight, which they had an overtime winner in comeback fashion, and it was an exciting game. And we're at that point where it's just like stuff that's going on in Rockford is becoming way more compelling than what's going on up here in Chicago. So it's tough, but when you have games like that, like you gotta look to what's giving you some joy in life.
Yeah. Well, give people some joy in life tomorrow.
Monster trucks.
And I have something after that too. It's giving me joy right now.
At Monster Jam. Hey, this weekend, it's almost over. Tomorrow's the final day.
No. Unacceptable. This is the last Monster Jam read.
Yeah, that's true.
Put your sack into it. Don't be the Blackhawks. Be the Blue Jackets. Let's go, Mario. Play like a champion.
If the Blackhawks can take a night off.
I think you should do this the way J.J. Watt skates.
I don't know how to
clunkily.
I don't know how to correlate
it's
that.
Just kind of cool. It's just kind of cool to watch him.
I don't know how to
Just
how
be
to
better.
represent that.
Just be better.
All right, fine.
You got it.
What is this? Am I Bart Simpson? Say the line.
Yes.
That's what I feel like right now. The most unexpected, unscripted, and unforgettable motorsports experience for families and fans in the world today returns to Chicagoland for an adrenaline-charged weekend at the All-State Arena from yesterday's Friday and tomorrow. See Monster Jam at the All-State Arena. The world's best drivers show off crazy skills and all-out racing and fierce head-to-head battles for the event championship. Engineered to perfection, the 12,000-pound Monster Jam trucks push all limits in freestyle, skills, donuts, and racing competitions. The Arena Series West champion will receive a highly coveted automatic bid to the prestigious Monster Jam World Finals to compete for the title of World Champion. See world-class athletes in action performing the craziest stunts in motorsports. Experience big-time family fun at Monster Jam. Unexpected, unscripted, unforgettable. This is Monster Jam. See it live at the All-State Arena tomorrow. Link for tickets in the description.
All right. Nice job. Before I get to Coors Light, Gravely is in the chat saying he's going to go back and watch the game from the beginning. Do not
You don't have to.
watch this game. Don't. Watch the compressed highlights if that's what you need. You don't need to watch this. Trust me, you've seen it before. It's bad. We respect you too much, Gravely, to let you do that. But we watched the whole game.
We did.
Which is why I had a Coors Light cracked.
That's a good idea.
Before the countdown even began on today's podcast because
that's a nice.
it was certainly needed.
effect.
It was certainly needed. And sometimes you just need to take that edge off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You need to relax. You need to take it down like 2 or 3 notches because I was a little fired up before we got started here.
Well,
it was a bad game.
it was a bad game.
This Coors Lights make me feel better.
It's one that you just need to flush.
Yeah, and Coors Light is my go-to when I need to chill. It's actually my go-to anytime when I want to kick back and have a good time, when I want to chill, when I want to relax, when I have a nice beer with my steak or whatever I'm having for dinner. Coors Light is very versatile and it's very delicious. You know why, Mario?
Why?
Because it's cold filtered, it's cold lagered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish when it's time to chill. Open a Coors Light. It's mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rocky Mountains, not baseball team. Poor Chris Bryant. He needs some Coors Light, man. Felt bad for that guy this week.
I'm sure there's plenty in Colorado.
Yes, and when it's time for you to chill or Chris Bryant to chill or me to chill, Coors Light is the beer that you should reach for. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO Hockey. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Colorado.
Do we have Ryan Donato ready to go?
Rocky Mountain.
In like 2 minutes, it's finishing exporting, and we will bring it over here. But
So
just about.
did not know.
Did not
know. We do not have him ready.
We have not mentioned Arvid Soderblom in this game.
That's for a reason.
And it was your typical, he wasn't great. I don't think I'm blaming him for this loss. I saw some people early in the game say, wow, he's got to bail out Seth Jones on that first one. No, he's not expecting an unpressured defenseman to turn a puck over 3 feet in front of his face.
If you've been watching Arvid Soderblom this year, you would not expect him to bail out Seth Jones there.
But man, is he... who is more famous in Chicago for rebounds now, him or Dennis Rodman? This is my question because it is ridiculous.
It's still Dennis Rodman. Man, Soderblom. I think the good thing that you can extract from him in this game is that yes, he was giving up juicy rebounds, but at least for the most part, he was in front of the puck. He was tracking it to let it hit him, but it was bouncing off like a bouncy ball off of him. Man, he is not an NHL goalie.
He is not.
And he is signed for one more year. And he doesn't have it. I don't know if it's between the ears this year. I don't think that's the case because too many times we've been seeing just mechanically, him flopping all over the crease, trying to make saves, not being able to track pucks. There was at least 2 instances tonight where a shot went either wide or was deflected, and he didn't flinch because there was no way he saw it.
He heard it hit the boards behind him. He's like, "Oh,
yeah." So
maybe I should have seen that one.
I don't know. I said he's under contract for next season. I don't know what you do with him. It's you have to. Part of being, a player out of the net, defenseman, forward, and having faith and trust in your goaltender that, if you get beat on a play or you're Seth Jones and you cause a turnover or anything like that, that you can have somebody behind you that could bail you out. Mm-hmm. Or, maybe you don't have a perfect game in front of them, but they're going to make a big save that, is above what is expected. Soderblom has had none of that this year. And I don't know how you go with Mrazek and Soderblom next year as your tandem. Like, I know they're still not contending for anything next year still, but just for the mentality and the confidence of the team, like you can't play Peter Mrazek 70 times a year. Like that's just not going to work.
Yes. And you also, like, at some point, you kind of owe it to the guys like Foligno and Dickinson and Bedard and Jones, and like the guys are going to be here for the next long while, to not just completely punt on the season again. Mm-hmm. And bringing Soderblom back as your backup is a punt on the season again. I'm sorry, it just is. Like, you can't say I'm going to put an 875 save percentage goalie in there and expect your team to have a chance to win.
Yeah,
send him back to Europe. Find a free agent.
You could loan him back. You could. I don't know. You could send him to Rockford. I think we've talked about it before. Like bringing in a veteran free agent, or maybe they grab somebody in a trade this week or in the summer or something as like some sort of cap dump or whatever. If you have a veteran goalie, like somebody to bring in as competition for the backup spot, because he just doesn't have it. And
there are a lot of people calling for Stauber.
Yeah.
He's got a 308 goals against and an 895 save percentage. So it's not like he's better
not
in Rockford.
He's not saving anything.
No.
He's not the savior of anything. And they're going to wait on Camezzo because his development in Rockford is more important than throwing him up here to, when he's not ready. And you don't want to really throw him into a backup role this early, because you're still going to give Mrazek the net 3 out of 4 nights because he's earned it the way he's played this season. So, I just think for next season, if you have Mrazek and a competition between Soderblom and a vet goalie, like either that pushes Soderblom to be better, or you have 3 guys that you can go with in Rockford, or you move on from somebody, and then you have a backup that you can actually have some faith in.
Yeah, and I will say, if they brought Stauber up this year, I'd be cool with it, because I've seen enough of Soderblom this year. Sure. I think you need to try, if anything,
it's a lateral move. Sure.
If anything, you try to maybe send him to Rockford to get his confidence back a little bit.
I mean, if they haven't done it by now.
You're right. I just,
but
I don't know.
But I understand what you're saying.
It's just very hard for me to even consider, again, like you're saying, maybe you start him in Rockford next year, you bring in some kind of veteran backup, whatever it might be, even if it's someone you've had before, someone you can play for 30 games and just say, just don't suck.
Come on back, Colin Delia.
Just give us a chance to win, right?
Yeah.
And if Soderblom figures things out, cool.
Yeah, wonderful.
Then you move one, you do what you got to do, great. But I don't think you can look the guys that matter on this team in the eye and just say, yeah, here's Arvid Soderblom again.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And seems like a good kid. The coaching staff seems to like him. Luke likes the fact that he's, like Ted Lasso says, he's a goldfish. Doesn't let things impact him too much. He can kind of, scrap the bad game and move on. But he's just had a bunch of bad games to scrap this year.
He's like a goldfish. When you take him out of water, it just starts flopping around.
And he forgets that he's a goalie.
Yeah.
After 10 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think the expectations are going to be met with him. Where we came into this season thinking he'd be the starter.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, and his last few starts were actually better.
They were better.
For baby steps better. But tonight just kind of felt like, all right, same old stuff. Like I just think that there's there's got to be some better options out there. So we'll see what they do this season, and it's again, it's unrealistic to play Peter Mrazek 70 times a year. So you need to have somebody that you can throw in there.
Yes. All right, let's hear from Ryan Donato. Greg sent this in and said it was worth playing, so maybe he must have had some strong thoughts. Let's hear from the game's 4-star nominee, Ryan Donato.
I don't know. It's tough to say. I think obviously it's all about building a culture, right? I think that's first and foremost. It's stuff every night that we notice that we want to continue to harp on and grow as a team. And obviously it's not easy when losing, right? Like it's not always a positive thing, but sometimes the messages are hard, but you got to keep rolling and grow as a team.
It's hard to grasp onto the positives and and the things that you are building on when the losses pile up like this.
Yeah, I think anybody that is a hockey player is competitive like that. They don't like losing no matter what the circumstances are. So obviously it's a tough pill to swallow to lose, but at the end of the day, there's a bigger picture to play. I think guys know that, but at the end of the day, you still got to win, and it's tough. Definitely a tough pill to swallow for us.
How much of a mental toll is it to stay positive when you guys are losing?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's really hard to stay positive, right? But at the end of the day, you have to. It's a long season. There's a lot of ebbs and flows, ups and downs, and if you're negative all the time, it's just gonna be miserable, right? So you got to make sure you're staying positive, doing the right things, and growing as a team and as an organization. And I think the guys are doing a good job of that.
How do you think you did on playing on Bedard's line for sure?
It's hard to say, right? I think at the end of the day, I'm happy we finally got some offense going, but also we got to be responsible on our own end. A couple bounces go their way. Connor does a great job blocking a shot. Sometimes stuff happens, right? At the end of the day, it's about limiting their scoring chances and getting more for us. And, it's tough tonight. I think we did one thing, but we also got to do it both ways, right? It can't just be one side. So.
Did you really want that one? I think Krasinski served it up to you right there at the net.
Which one?
In the first period.
I couldn't even tell you.
Okay.
I couldn't even tell you. I wish I could. I probably gave me a great pass that I somehow screwed it up. But no. Obviously, any chance you get, you want to bear down, especially for Kev who's making good plays like that.
You talked about staying positive. What about with the younger players? How do you kind of teach them about staying positive and kind of grinding through some of these long stretches?
Yeah, I think you tell them it's not all right to lose, right? That's the biggest thing. And they're not comfortable with losing either, and I don't think that's it. But I think you just got to learn how to play the game, learn how to play an 80-game season or whatever it is, and keep playing positive, because at the end of the day, there's so many things you can learn throughout the entire season, but if you're negative, it's really hard to harp on those things and grow as a team. So I think these young guys are hungry. They don't like losing, and that's a good thing. But I think that's the biggest thing I take away from it, and I think that's a bright spot of the future is how sick of losing these guys are. And I think I'm happy to be a part of that, and hopefully you can grow from it.
Well, there's Ryan Donato.
And he says it. These guys are competitive. They're professionals. They don't like to lose. And that's you to harp on them and say that they don't care is I think not true. But
I don't think it's a matter of caring. I think it's just a matter of like Troy Murray said it. Like it's a confidence thing, but at some point you've got to like we said to Nick Foligno this week, there's nothing more to lose.
Right.
Like if you
can't go to 33rd place.
Right? If you get super aggressive and it costs you, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's better than sitting back and just letting yourself get beat. Right. And that's where at some point what was the thing you just read about if they win their next 20 games?
Oh, Mark Lazarus tweeted out. They said the Blackhawks could win all of their remaining 21 games and still finish 20 points out of the playoffs.
Right. So F it. Why not go down swinging?
Yeah.
Go down putting up a fight. And that's the thing. And again, I don't think it's the fact that they don't care or are not trying. It is this fear of screwing up. And when you're scared of screwing up, you're going to screw up. It's inevitable because you're thinking. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
When you're out there thinking, you are fucked.
Yeah.
You're done. There's nothing you could do if you're and the next thing you know, you're falling over, you crap your pants, and the puck's in the back of your net.
Fumble a puck, you misplay a pass, throw a slap pass behind a guy instead of in front of a guy.
Magna.
Yeah, it's just I mean, it's
More like Schmegma.
It's to the lowest levels of hockey in my men's league. Just thinking, if you think, what am I going to do when the puck comes to me here as a pass is coming? You've already screwed up. Yes. Like, you literally just have to be like, I'm taking this into the zone, or I'm dumping it in, or I know my teammate is across the ice. I'm going to try and throw it over to him. Like, it just has to be simple and quick, simple decisions and quick decisions as well. I forget who it was, but there was a play where it might have been Dickinson. I can't remember. There was a play along the boards. They won a board battle, got a puck back, and like curled back into the offensive zone, and then just kind of froze. And they were like, for like a half second, and I was just like, sitting up in the press box, I was like, "What are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do with the puck?" And it was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna try and spin back towards the boards," and then fumbled it, turned the puck over, went back the other way. So it's just the processing speed of this team, I think, collectively needs to be better, because it just seems like when you watch these teams, that are in the postseason chase or are going to be locked into the postseason, like Colorado, you see how fast things happen.
Everything's fast.
Not just literal speed like Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon, but like it's pass, done.
The
like,
Devon Taves goal, that whole sequence is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's the play. Go back and watch that highlight if you want to. All right, before we get to Greg, we got to take a break, but two little things that I failed to mention. Pissed me off like crazy. End of the first period, there's 5 seconds left. The puck's rolling into the Hawks zone, and the Hawks just go off the ice as if the period's over.
Yeah.
And Columbus almost, I think they did actually shoot, but time had expired.
Yeah, if they had maybe an extra half second, that shot would have counted.
Yes.
So
and just, I'm doing this so Greg doesn't have to, because Greg would be very mad at all of you. The answer to this is not to bring in an enforcer. They don't need Olivier. They don't need Matt Rempe. They don't need Ryan Reeves. The enforcer is dead. This team has enough bad, slow players. They don't need an enforcer. It's going to do nothing.
Yeah.
They've got Jared Tenorti out there. That's as close as you can get to an enforcer on this team. He's willing to fight. You've got Reese Johnson. No, that's enough.
You don't need an enforcer. True. But the guys whose job it is, part of their job is to be that role, I think need to be a little bit more aware and active on this team.
I would not disagree with that. I think when you saw Connor Bedard get slashed and there was no response, and we talked to Nick Foligno after that game, and he said, we didn't see it, or at least he didn't see it.
Richardson said the same thing. He didn't even see it happen. So it's...
I don't know how you miss your star player skating through the middle of the ice doing this.
Yeah, I know.
And like bent over and holding his wrist. Like maybe you didn't see but go, what happened?
It was behind the play. Sure. But yeah, that's and Nick said it Thursday night on the post-game show, okay, they don't see it in the game, but you got Colorado, you go to Colorado on Monday. So that's a receipt that you need to cash. So that's how it'll go. But even in this game, on the Donato goal,
yeah, Bedard's
crashing the net, and Olivier cross checks him after the goal goes in, and it goes face first into Eric Goodbranson's ass. I'd like to not see that. And because it did happen, even after a goal, we've seen fights and scrums after a team has scored a goal.
Just face wash somebody.
Like someone is. There's at least two guys behind that play, two defensemen, you'd hope, behind that play that would have seen that happen, go in and get in his face. Like, especially because it's Bedard, you cannot just let these incidents continue to happen against him without any kind of response. Even just not saying you have to get in and fight everybody, dropping the gloves instantly on everybody, but at least getting in someone's face and being like, if you touch him again, and you're gonna have problems. Yep. Even something that simple. So I don't know. It's you don't need to bring in a dedicated enforcer. I agree. But I think the guys whose job that is, I'd like to see a little bit more activity out of that.
You know what you do need?
What?
A bona fide enforcer.
Enforcer? Yeah, that's true.
And where can we find one of those, Mario?
Well, you could find a bona fide enforcer at Empire Today. With Empire Today, you get to shop with at-home convenience for the right products that you need with quick and professional installation and with a low price guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, they have copycats, but Empire cannot be beaten on quality, service, speed, or in flooring. So competitors will advertise lower quality products that Empire will not carry. And Empire can't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does that, well, they're putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs. And that's not what an enforcer does. They keep shopping for floors simple and have a great curated product selection. And one of the best things about Empire is that you can see what flooring will look good in your house without having to actually go and get the flooring samples and put them up against your walls or put them next to your furniture and see anything matches. All you have to do with their virtual floor designer is take a picture of the room that you're looking to get a new floor in, and you're able to kind of scroll through and see the different flooring options, see how they look, and find the right one for you. Super convenient. So make sure to schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off coupon discount when you use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions do apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for more details.
Yes, do that. And then to celebrate your new flooring, go see a great sporting event or concert or show or theater event near you with our friends at GameTime. And look, we know I've been looking at the ticket sites a lot lately because there's a lot of stuff coming and it's like, damn, this is so expensive and these fees are ridiculous. I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait and get my tickets on GameTime because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the fees. And I know by now that whatever I needed tickets for, it's going to be there on GameTime. They've got those great last-minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals. It's easy to find and buy the tickets for every kind of event in your area. You can view your seats, like exactly what it's going to look like from where you're sitting. Boom. You know exactly what your seat's going to look like.
Love that.
They've got the low price guarantee, event cancellation protection. And again, if you photocopied your ass at the Christmas party and got laid off, they've got job loss protection for you. You should not have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. And with GameTime, you don't have to. They are the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. They're obsessed with helping you find ways to save money on tickets. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And let's go out now to the United Center and bring in our pal, Greg Boysen.
Gregory.
Hello, Greg. What did Luke have to say?
Can't hear you. Technical issues. Greg, don't swear and rip off your headphones.
I think you're... Well...
Nope, quiet.
Muted.
While we wait on Greg,
I don't know what's going on here.
there is a comment here from it's Paul T. It says we also need to start judging Kyle based on you worry about Greg Lawrence. I got you here. Judge Kyle based on rosters that he assembles moving forward and not getting lucky in the draft. Again, I'm not expecting a cup, but I want on ice improvement, and I agree.
Yeah,
there will be expectations on this team in the next few seasons. I think next season you should have a better team than this season. But what I will say to that is this season, the expectations were different. If you go back and listen to how we were kind of talking about this team in the preseason and the lead up to the season opener, you go back and listen to our season opening post-game show after beating Pittsburgh. You had a team that had Taylor Hall. You had a team that had Andreas Athanasiou. You had, you had Corey Perry actually playing a pretty productive role with this team before being dismissed for off-ice reasons. So the expectations, I hear Greg now, the expectations this season were higher because the roster was supposed to be better, but then you lose Hall for the entire season. We're just now seeing Andreas Athanasiou get back on the ice, and he could go with the team on this upcoming road trip here. He's been gone since early November.
Yep. Last road win.
So So I think the loss of talent due to injury hampers this season a lot.
Yeah, and look, like the way he went out and got Taylor Hall and Nick Foligno for basically nothing. Is Ian Mitchell and whatever else it was.
Alec Regula,
great. Bye. Okay, they weren't part of the plans here anyway. You get a first-round pick and Peter Mrazek, and now Peter Mrazek's turned into a guy you've gone and re-signed for 2 years. So the moves he's made have been good.
Jason Dickinson and a second-round pick for Riley Stillman.
Yeah.
He's extended.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good – the moves he's made that work – well, not the moves he's
judge him by the good moves, not the bad moves.
You know what I'm saying? The moves he's made that had an actual point to like, hey, this is not just a gap filler. Let's bring someone in that we think can do something. Remains to be seen on Beauvillier, but again, didn't give up a ton to get him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I do think this summer will be quite interesting to see which direction they go. Is it stopgaps or is it someone? Someone in the chat here say, Dr. Horsha, I can see Jordan Eberle as a future Hawk. Sure. I could too. That makes a lot of sense.
Down with that. All right, let's get to Greg. He's been waiting long enough.
Yes, we can hear him.
Hello, Greg. We can hear you now.
All right. Well, that's a good thing, I think.
We'll find out.
I see our chat is having a normal night. That the Blackhawks lost this game because not because they can't complete one single pass to the right team, and when they do, the other guy fumbles it, but it's because we don't have a punch monkey out there. Okay, cool. Like, come on. Like, I know people are frustrated, but like, let's hold on to a little bit of the sanity we have left.
We need to sign Doug Glatt.
There you go. Get Shorzy in here.
Yeah.
Well, what did Luke have to say, Greg?
Well, as you can imagine, Luke wasn't the happiest guy in the world. Didn't exactly, in typical Luke style, wasn't going to throw specific people under the bus, but said that this was a team that was still reeling from getting their ass handed to them by the Colorado Avalanche, one of the best teams in the NHL. There's no shame in playing as best as you can and still getting killed by a really good team, which is what happened. And he said that carried over into this game, and there were too many guys going in for them business for themselves and didn't have their heads on as the game started. And he said they played slow and were just behind the play and were making too many mistakes because they just weren't in it. And then when they started playing faster, then they got better. And it just tonight. I don't know. I don't know if there's a lot of talk in the room heading into the game and a lot of talk in the room after the game about what the mental state of this team is. You could talk about moral victories all you want and playing really hard and just not getting the result all you want. But eventually all these losses are going to start having an effect mentally on this team. And I think we're starting to see a team that I've categorized as fragile all season long now starting to have zero confidence from top to bottom and playing like it.
Well, for those listening on the audio-only version, when Greg was saying that they're reeling for the Colorado game, I was giving the old wank mechanic, and that was not aimed at Greg. I don't want to hear that. I'm sorry. Yeah, you got your ass kicked by one of the best teams in hockey. Were you expecting something else? If anything, I looked at the Colorado game. Yeah, it was 5-0. There's a great goalie performance by whatever his name is, and you just got outclassed. If anything, I felt positive after that game. All right, they didn't get the score was ugly, but it didn't represent the game totally. Be excited to play the Blue Jackets. This is a team you can hang with. It's been a while since you've had a break in the schedule. Come out, guns blazing, ready to go, instead of on your friggin' heels waiting to lose. And that's exactly how they came out in this game. I don't want to hear that we're still upset because we get our dicks kicked in by the Avalanche. Join the club. They do that to everybody. It's like I don't know. I hate that. And Greg, you're right. The fragility of that. You lose to a cup contender. All right, great. Now you've got a chance with a team that's more in your league on home ice before you hit the road. Come out and put together a good performance in front of the home crowd that, by the way, has been there for you all year. Loud in the anthems, excited when the puck drops, loud cheers when the team's announced. You got the Luke chants going on. They're into it. They're invested. And this is the performance you give them because, we lost to the Avalanche. Come on. Suck it up, man. I hate that.
That should be one of those games that you just you take the lump, you take the loss, and you move on. Like that shouldn't be one. This should be a game that stings with you, that sticks with you. And stings.
This is the one you should be pissed about and your confidence shaken. Yes.
Yeah. Not the Avalanche one.
Well, Luke did allude saying, like, maybe this is a game that picture will be good for them because when things completely unravel, you have to start from scratch, and things completely unravel for them tonight. So, he's kind of just riding that wave of like, hey, these guys have got to figure something out here, and this was a game that you should hope to win. This team clowned you when you played them in Columbus in November, 7-3, and it wasn't even that close. They're missing 3 of their best players, if not their 3 best players, who have, Patrick Laine, Adam Fantilli, and Kent Johnson, all not in the lineup tonight. Like, this is a team you should hope to beat, or at least be neck and neck with them through the whole game. And this game was over when it started. Like, there was,
30
you had the ugly Seth Jones turnover on the opening shift, just an ugly shift. It was an awful play by Jones. Richardson says that, but it wasn't excusing the play by Jones, but said the puck should have been out of the zone twice before that. They just kept turning around and giving it right back to them. And then it also didn't get help that, that first shift, 2 shots from long distance are giant, juicy rebounds back to the middle of the ice. Arvid Soderblom at some point has to work on get this rebound control right for his sake and his team's sake. He could have saved himself 10, 11 saves tonight, but just every shot is a rebound, and it's got to be frustrating for the guys playing in front of them that they're like, okay, there's a shot. Now I got to be ready to see which direction off his extremely bouncy pads it's going to go. It's tough. It's tough to have structure that way.
Got to break in those pads, soften them up a little bit.
I guess so. Or take the springs out of them. Good point from our friends at the Hockey Barn, by the way. It says, get the fellas to 100 likes. We've got over 200 people watching and only 78 likes. Come on, let's hammer that like button. Get in the habit of hitting that like button as soon as you start the stream. We really appreciate it. It helps us out big time. We're here. We're doing the show for you. We're happy to do it. But on a tough night, those likes really help out big time. So please, please, please get in the habit. We're not going to play Luke because it's 9 minutes and we only have so much show left and we want to talk to Greg. But here's a quote referencing what you said, Greg, about the Seth Jones's night. This is from Ben Pope. Quote, back to the drawing board. He's starting to think of offense before we finish our defensive responsibilities. The first play was just a tough one. That puck should have been out twice before that happened, but we kept turning it back in the first period, thinking we're going to get something better, and it ended up being something worse. That back to the drawing board thing is interesting. In your opinion, you were in the room. Was he saying that about Seth, or was he saying that about the game in general?
No, I think he was saying that about Seth. He says he needs to simplify his game more. He said at the beginning of last year he was trying to do everything. And then as the season went on, they kind of pulled the reins on him and took some responsibility away from him. And all of a sudden, things started to get better. You remember his first couple months here with the team, and that awful start to that season. He looked like a guy that was trying to live up to the expectations, trying to live up to that dollar sign next to his contract, and try and do everything in one play. And it wasn't working. And I think we're seeing that again. We're seeing a guy that sees he only has 1 goal and 17 assists and knows that expectations are for more. And he's trying to make back all those points in one play before the puck's even out of the defensive zone. So he's another guy that's fighting between his own ears right now.
Well, I don't fault him for trying to generate offense. because this team lacks it for sure. But yeah, also you shouldn't be doing that at the detriment of defensive responsibilities. But I mean, like you're asking your best defenseman to literally do everything every game, from the blue line. Like it's a lot.
Yeah, and he's, remember, he's playing 27, 28 minutes a night. Like, they were asking a lot of him. And I think a bad game from him was going, I think anytime you work a guy that much where he's shorthanded, power play, 5-on-5, toughest matchup, top pairing, it is asking a lot of him. I'm not excusing the game, but boy, he could use a little support. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well,
it's, I mean, all the problems that we have and we've been seeing for months, it comes down to the lack of actual talent on this team right now. You can point your fingers at Seth Jones, and he had a bad game tonight, probably his worst of the season. Nobody's going to argue that. But, when he's on an island half the night, because, he's got to, guys are throwing hand grenades at him or leaving the zone before the puck is possessed. I don't know what the expectations can be. And you just look up and down this roster. There's just not enough talent to compete on a nightly basis. That's been the biggest problem. And the beginning of the year, there was more talent here. This wasn't a playoff team, but you had Taylor, you had Andreas Athanasiou. Connor Murphy's been out for forever. Nikita Zaitsev, say what you want about him, but I'd much rather have him than Jacob Megna out there on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
These long-term injuries, have had major effect. Obviously, Bedard gone for a month. All these things, they add up, and we've heard it all season. Kyle Davidson should have got more for this team. Who this past off season would you have gotten? Right. Like everybody who says he should have got more talent never come up with a name. But they want to go spend $10 million this summer to go get Sam Reinhart. Go waste all your salary cap in year 2 of a rebuild when half the players that are going to be here when it matters aren't even in the system yet. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, look, again, Taylor Hall, we all knew, was a risk. That's a guy who's had an injury history. Mm-hmm. So you knew that was a possibility when you got him. But Foligno's worked out. Perry was working out until he visited Pakistan. Like Athanasiou, we don't have to rehash it again. We know that. But no free agent. Maybe now with Bedard here, you're going to be a little more attractive to a top free agent. But you don't want to throw the bag at a second-tier free agent. If you're going to throw the bag at somebody, if you're going to say, here's $12 million, here's $13 million, it's got to be like Draisaitl, Rantanen, like someone that is going to be great.
Yeah. It
can't be someone who's like, oh, he's put up pretty good numbers on a really deep team. Like Sam Reinhart to me is kind of in that category.
I mean, he is a very talented player, and he is one of the better players on that Panthers team. Like,
sure,
they're not where they are without him for sure.
But he's not Kachuk or Barkov.
No,
right?
No.
That if you're throwing that kind of money at someone, it has to be someone in that A tier. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking. Like I'm not. You've got guys again. You've got your first A tier guy here in Bedard. Mm-hmm. He's going to cost you $13 million. Vlasic's going to end up costing you. Fortunately, it's this summer, so it won't be too much. But he's going to be
maybe
5 or 6 probably.
Yeah,
probably under 6.
I'm interested in what that contract's going to look like.
Yeah, and if Nazar and Moore work out the way they think they're going to have to pay them. So if there's one guy that makes a ton of sense, cool. But don't just start signing guys to sign guys because again, it's not going to get you over the hump. Now, if we're talking $6-7 million deals for guys for 2 or 3 years. Yes, sure. That I'm on board with. Yeah. We've talked about Stamkos. Eberle was brought up. Those make sense. But you're not going to give a guy a max contract at max years unless it is a bona fide superstar.
Right.
No,
and also you have to think about how attractive is Chicago in year 2 of rebuild.
Yeah.
Like, as for Sam Reinhart, he's not going to go from a Panthers team that is a playoff contender, played in the Cup final, to then be like, ooh, maybe I can restart everything in Chicago. Like, no, he's going to want to go to a team that's ready to go. He's not going to waste his time.
Right.
I don't think Sam Reinhart wants to leave Florida. If they can figure out how to pay him, he'll stay there because there's a reason why Sam Reinhart has put up career numbers since arriving in Florida, because he is the perfect player for that team and that system. He excels with the way the Panthers play hockey and with the guys he gets to play with. That wouldn't happen if he comes here or a lot of other places. Like if he goes elsewhere, that could be a contract that gets a general manager fired if you don't put him in the same type of role with the same type of players. And not everybody has a Matthew Tkachuk to play next to. So, I don't think that's a guy you back up the armored truck for this summer. There are plenty of talent out there of guys at the back end of their career if they want to come here. A guy like Jonathan Marchessault is a very attractive player, but is that a guy that wants to come here for 2 years, or is that a guy that wants to go to a cup contender? He got to win a cup last year, was very, very big reason why they won the cup. Still has a lot of good years left. That's going to be the other thing. People want to say, "Oh, why didn't you sign this guy? Why didn't you sign that guy?" We're probably going to hear a lot about in the summer. Who says they didn't try? And they don't want to come here because they'd rather go play for a contender. It's a tough sell right now. Now, as you get more of these prospects up here that are hopefully developing the exact player that you drafted them to be, this becomes a much more attractive landing spot. But if you're only going to offer guys 2 years because that's your window, it's going to be tough to get real difference makers.
And that's a great point, Greg, because those guys at the end, they're going to want another shot to win, right? If someone's coming to sign in Chicago, they're going to say, all right, I see what you're doing here, and I see where this is headed, so yeah, I'm interested. But if it's someone at the end of their career looking like, hey, I got 2-3 years left in this game, I'm going to come to Chicago and get them over the hump, or get them to the point where they're ready to contend and then retire.
Right.
I don't think that's appealing to a lot of people. Like Foligno is a special exception because Foligno is a guy who's like, look, I'm wanted here. I play a big role here. I enjoy the mentoring role I'm in. And I do think he can see a little bit of the light at the end of the tunnel that maybe in not next year, but the year after, they could actually make a little bit of noise.
Yeah.
Right. Like
you can overpay for a guy like Foligno and a guy like Perry to bring them in this season,
right?
For a specific purpose, because they're in that role, or they're in that category of player who's back half of their career, and maybe they get an opportunity to be on a contender, but for a fraction of what they're going to make. And for some of these guys, the opportunity to chase one more cup is a big deal. For other guys, it's, I'm looking at an opportunity here to be part of building something, and I'm gonna make 4 times more. Like that's family stability. Like that's something that I think some guys consider, and that's something where the Blackhawks have that advantage. Is like they can, for a guy for $1 million going elsewhere, you could say, oh, here's 4 to come here. Okay, that makes sense. But for a guy like Reinhart, let's say, if he's getting offered 10 to stay in Florida, Chicago's not going to go, oh, well, here's 12 and a half to come with us. Like that would be irresponsible. So I think that's you have that leeway to, for those guys in that category where it's like, yeah, 2-3 year window makes sense for the rest of their career or whatever they have left. That's where you can go at those things.
Yeah, Dan N says in the comments, Domi, Toffoli, Marchessault, Duchesne, Eberle, Tavo, all good options. 100%. I would take any one of those guys, if not 2, on this team next year. Problem is, they have to want to come here too.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. Kyle Davidson's got to put his salesman hat on and see what works. If some guys are willing to just say, all right, I'm going to take the security, but most guys in this sport, they want to win. So we'll see what happens. But I do think they will. Yeah, I mean, I think, the situation in Ottawa is worth monitoring. I know a lot of people love Brady Tkachuk. I love Brady Tkachuk too. That he would be amazing on this team. I just don't think Ottawa is going to move on from him. But if he is, you put together a damn good package. The other guy that if Ottawa is looking to when they get everything settled and if they're going to start from scratch again, if Shane Pinto ever hits the trade market, you put together what you can to get him too. That guy has been amazing since coming back, and he's that age of player you want inserted into this team right now because he's going to be good for a while.
I hope that Bedard is enough of a selling point for guys to look at that and say, all right, like let's just put ourselves in Tavo's shoes, right? And say, I'm familiar with the city. I enjoyed my time here. People in the city love me. I will be left wing 1 with Connor Bedard for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And maybe that gets him to another contract where he can make even more. Probably not. I think this would probably be the biggest contract he would sign, I would imagine.
Yeah,
he's 29.
Yeah.
So this would probably be the big one. But, like, again, if the term is right, I'm down. I just don't. That's to me is what's interesting, is what motivates each of these guys. And everybody's different, right? Mm-hmm. Like, some people are like, throw the bag at me and I'm good.
Yeah.
Some guys are like, F that, I want to win, and I don't have 3 or 4 years to wait to win. I want to win now. For me, with Tavo, pretty low key guy. It seems kind of, like I don't know. I think he could be convinced to return here, and the what do you call it? The son. What's the word I'm looking for?
The son.
The something son. Prodigal. There you go. The prodigal son returns.
I was gonna go with Black Hole.
And everybody's thrilled he's back, and he's a star and puts up huge numbers here. That could be appealing.
I don't know. I think that the chances of that happening are probably slim. I'd love to see it. If Carolina goes and wins the whole damn thing this year, then maybe that makes that decision a little easier. But I think if they come close, he might be like, man, I want one of these things before it's over. God, it's just so weird that we're already talking about Tavo getting towards the end of his career. That's just so wrong.
But see, now Tavo,
I mean, he's not at the end of his career, but he's getting there.
But see, okay, but Tavo's not the kind of guy that's going to demand $11, $12, $13 million. You're looking at what? 7, 8 for him?
7, yeah.
I give him 7 or 8 for 8 years. I would do that. Or how I'd give her. Well, point being, I would give him more than the 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I'm comfortable with that.
You'd invest in him to be a part of the team that you're pinpointing as 26, 27 season and beyond. He would be part of it.
Right.
Yeah, and I apologize. Tavo was on the 2015 team, but he watched a lot of those games from the press box. Did have a goal in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah,
I don't know how I forgot that, but
he was a key part in that team.
But
we'll
yeah,
see. I mean, that was a while ago, and yeah, I mean, you wonder where his career priorities are at. I think that is something that I would be fascinated to kind of pick the brain of some of these guys about what when you get to that point in your career, how do you prioritize things? Do you know the clock is ticking and you want to try and make one more run at it? Do you just want to enjoy your last few years, maybe win some games, maybe make a run here or there, or are you just making sure that you got stability with your family and everything? So it's interesting.
Bless you.
Allergic to losses.
Well, you're screwed.
Yeah, I've had a long year.
All right.
Yeah, it's been a tough one, man. Anything we need to know before I let you go? Anything noteworthy?
Did you play the Ryan Donato video?
We did.
We did, yes.
Okay, I have a new question, a real question about this Blackhawks team. What would get you drunker? Drinking every time Kevin Korchinski says obviously, or drinking every time Ryan Donato says at the end of the day?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I think Korchinski, because he talks more quickly.
Yeah, he'd get more obviously's in.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that would be my
Blackhawks
guess.
Hockey 98 is upset we didn't play Luke's video, but I will be throwing that up in its entirety on the CHGO Blackhawks Twitter account momentarily, so you can go watch the whole presser from there.
It'll be on YouTube as well. And by the way, Greg, you won Who's Your Hawk. Congratulations.
Oh, I know. I had the first line luck of Ryan Donato. I picked one of the 4 games where he was going to be effective, and I lucked out. So at the end of the day, I'm the helmet winner.
Yeah.
It's his 3rd multi-point game of the year.
Donato's?
Yeah.
Cool. Good for him.
There you go. All right, Greg. Thanks for everything, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
We'll see you Monday.
See you Monday for a pregame show. We haven't done one of those in forever.
Not in a long time. Blackhawks practice tomorrow, 11:30.
Yeah, I'm taking the option. I'll see you guys Monday.
Yep.
Okay.
Peace
Sounds
out.
Good.
All right, Greg. That's Greg Boysen from the United Center. We've got to tie up some loose ends. We got to name our 4-star of the game. We've got to do Connor's Corner. We're going to do that. But first, we are once again going to remind you that if you need new flooring, there is no place to go like Empire Today, where you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and that low price guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring, so of course they've got copycats. Don't go to the copycats. Go to Empire. Shopping at floors at a big box store can be frustrating because the guy who worked in plumbing yesterday is handling floors today, doesn't know what he's talking about with either. He's going to sell you a bad plunger and a bad floor, and you don't want that, especially the plunger.
You do not want a bad plunger.
Because then what do? You don't want to know.
I gotta go get a different plunger.
Empire Today prides themselves on their convenient shop-at-home service. They help customers shop for floors where they use their floors so they can see exactly what their new floors will look like in their home's lighting and decor so they can make an informed decision. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 discount when they use that promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details. All right, 4-star time. I'm going to guess it is Connor Bedard. Am I right?
You are correct.
All right, so that leads us very nicely into Connor's Corner, where we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, which is always
The corner for
the
Connor.
desired thing to do on hockey shows and in life in general.
Oh, let's play the music. Where's the damn music?
Where's
There
the
it is.
music? There we go. Connor Bedard, he had 1 assist. He had 21-19 of ice time, 4 shots on goal, 5 shot attempt, and a very painful block shot.
I had to put that on there.
That looked bad, man.
That
Woo.
was right in his shin. From
I
like
didn't
2
see it
feet
either.
away.
I was like looking down for a second, and I just heard everyone go, ooh, and I saw him struggling to leave the ice, and I almost just jumped right off.
I was very nervous because I was after he went down. I was like, please get up. I just felt like Simba in Lion King. Spoiler alert. I was like, please get up, And then he got up and he was like hobbling. I'm like, no. And then they went, and then Columbus goes and scored. I was just like, screw it, whatever. Is Bedard fine? Like, you know?
That's all that matters.
And then he didn't miss a shift, which was great. So hopefully it's, just to put some ice on it, bruise, and you just play on. But man, he's had a rough couple of games.
Yeah.
Got a shot right in the shin, like a slash to the hand. He's, got Erica Branson's ass right in his face tonight. Like, it's just
no one wants that.
It was a rough one. No one wants that.
I will say he is tough as nails.
He's
he's
tough.
a tough kid.
I would like to see less times where he has to tough it out, but it's good to know that he is not, as one former expert said, too small.
No.
So, yeah.
Former expert.
Yeah. You remember that?
No.
Greg McKegg or whatever his name is.
Oh God.
Or I don't know.
With a leg for an arm and an arm for a leg. Boy, that game sucked. Can we stop talking about it? Law?
I think so.
I believe we've done all the requirements, and that's all that's required.
All right. Before we go, do your requirement. Smash that like button for us. We would greatly appreciate that. We're going to be back Monday. All right. We've got pregame show.
Back Monday.
It's going to be fun, I think.
If for some reason you haven't subscribed yet,
Yeah.
we're very close to 50,000 subscribers on this here YouTube channel.
That's fun.
Is there a way to know who the 50,000th subscriber is?
I don't know.
I
mean, maybe.
Yeah, I think you'd have to watch it go from $4.99 to
Honestly, I don't know if the YouTube back end is really that detailed.
I've had trouble with my other podcast finding out stuff about YouTube followers.
I mean, you can see how many there are, but I don't know if it's giving you like it's Johnny.
Yeah, it doesn't give you an update when someone subscribes.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because we got those commemorative pucks to give away.
Yeah.
Bought a Chris Chelios one. Got another one from that Corey Crawford game we got to figure out how to give away. Yeah. So, and I believe we still have some tickets left for our takeover.
Less than a handful of tickets.
We had earlier
remaining.
today we had 5 left.
Yeah.
And it is now open to everybody, not just diehards. So if you want your tickets, March 26th, Hawks to Flames, we're sitting in the 100 level for this game.
Awesome.
There are literally, at most, 5 tickets left.
Yep.
So if you've not gotten them yet, allchgo.com. If you're looking to become a diehard, you might want to do it now because you save 20% on the event anyway. You get a free shirt or hat upon sign up, including our brand new Raised in Chicago #7 design that just popped out in correlation with Chris Chelios' jersey retirement, oddly enough.
Yeah, by random chance.
And you always save 20% at chgolocker.com. So good time to become a diehard, save on the event, get a free shirt, wear the shirt to the event, bada bing, bada boom. Everyone's happy. But again, if you can't afford to become a diehard now, understandable. You can still join us at the takeover, allchgo.com. But again, act now or you're going to miss out. It's going to be an awesome, awesome time.
And
regardless of win or loss.
If you've been a diehard,
yes,
and you've purchased every shirt in the CHGO locker at that 20% discount, and you've renewed your diehard membership, and you've got your free shirts, and you're like, man, I got no more shirts to buy.
Aha!
Well,
joke's on you, fool.
Keep an eye out tomorrow. There may be some...
or the next day.
Or Monday. Because I don't know what day it is.
It's almost Sunday right now.
In a few hours. Keep an eye out. Because Monday is a big day.
Is March 4th a significant day in CHGO?
More in CHGO than in Chicago, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, it'll be a good day for people looking to update their wardrobe. I say.
That's called a tease, Mr. and
It
Mrs.
is. Yeah.
Or whatever you call yourself. All right, we're going to wrap things up. Puck drop is at 8 o'clock Monday, so you guessed it, 7:30 pregame, and we'll have the postgame following that. We'll see if Josh Manson gets his comeuppance against the Blackhawks. Thanks to Lawrence for running the show. Thanks to everybody for being with us. If you've not smashed that like button, please do so on your way out, and subscribe to our page as well. We'll talk to you Monday, 7:30 pregame, Hawks and Avs on a CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.